Okay, I'll take that one. I'll take that one.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
Do what your heart says you have to.
Please, guys, one at a time, single file
See the
line.
bottom corner.
Hey Steven, how are you? What do you think about the Oscar?
Hey, gossip aficionados. Welcome back to another juicy edition of Celebrity Scandals. Today, we are diving into the controversial world of Steven Spielberg, the legendary director, who has been at the center of some of Hollywood's biggest scandals. As a right-wing Christian conservative, we are here to expose the leftist and degenerate actions of Spielberg, whose films have often pushed a subversive agenda.
Broke different glass ceilings over the last couple.
Let's get started. First up, let's delve into Spielberg's historical drama, Lincoln. While the film received widespread acclaim for its portrayal of President Abraham Lincoln's efforts to pass the 13th Amendment, it's riddled with leftist propaganda. The movie glorifies the use of political manipulation and backdoor deals to achieve legislative goals, promoting a Machiavellian approach to governance that is contrary to the principles of transparency and integrity.
This fight is for the United States of America.
Spielberg's portrayal of Lincoln as a solitary hero fighting against a corrupt and resistant Congress paints a skewed picture of American politics.
Congress must never declare equal those whom God created unequal.
It subtly undermines the value of democratic debate and the legislative process by suggesting that the ends justify the means. This narrative aligns perfectly with the leftist agenda that often champions radical changes without regard for the established political procedures.
This settles the fate for all coming time.
The emancipation of the slaves is a...
Furthermore, Lincoln emphasizes the role of the federal government in enacting social change, reinforcing the leftist belief in a strong central authority. By glorifying the federal government's intervention in abolishing slavery, Spielberg diminishes the significance of individual states' rights and promotes a narrative that centralization of power is necessary for progress. This is a direct contradiction to the conservative principle of limited government and state sovereignty. The film also portrays the opposition to the 13th Amendment in a one-dimensional manner, demonizing those who held different views as villains. This lack of nuanced representation of historical figures fosters a divisive mindset, painting all opposition as inherently evil. Such a portrayal feeds into the leftist tactic of vilifying those who disagree with their agenda, instead of fostering constructive dialogue. In essence, Lincoln serves as a vehicle for Spielberg to propagate his leftist ideology under the guise of historical drama. By subtly promoting centralized power, political manipulation, and vilification of dissent, Spielberg continues to push his subversive agenda, undermining the core values of American conservatism.
Obama, who has referenced Lincoln, and even...
Next on our list is The Post, Spielberg's dramatization of the Pentagon Papers scandal.
Do you have the papers?
Not yet.
This film unabashedly champions the role of the media as a check on government power, promoting the leftist notion that the press should act as a watchdog against conservative administrations. The movie glorifies the actions of journalists who defied government orders, portraying them as heroes in a narrative that aligns with the liberal agenda of media activism. In The Post, Spielberg highlights the efforts of Katharine Graham and Ben Bradlee in publishing the Pentagon Papers, emphasizing their courage and moral righteousness. This portrayal feeds into the leftist ideal that the media should operate independently of governmental oversight, essentially encouraging journalists to take on activist roles rather than maintaining objectivity. Such a stance directly undermines the conservative view that the media should report facts without bias. Additionally, the film underscores the importance of transparency and accountability in government, but only selectively. By focusing on the Pentagon Papers, Spielberg ignores other instances where media collusion with government interests has gone unquestioned, particularly under liberal administrations. This selective criticism exposes the film's inherent bias and its attempt to promote a one-sided narrative that aligns with Spielberg's leftist ideology.
When Richard Nixon tried to take on the New York Times and the Washington Post.
We've all struggled to try.
Also serves to romanticize civil disobedience and resistance against authority, themes that resonate with the liberal agenda of challenging and undermining established institutions. Spielberg's glorification of these themes encourages a disregard for legal boundaries and promotes a mindset of defiance against conservative governance. This is a clear departure from the conservative values of respect for law and order. Moreover, the film's focus on empowering female leadership through the character of Katharine Graham aligns with the leftist agenda of promoting gender equality in a way that often marginalizes traditional family roles. By portraying Graham as a trailblazer who defied societal expectations, Spielberg subtly advances the feminist narrative that champions career over family, contradicting the conservative emphasis on traditional gender roles and family values. Ultimately, The Post is yet another example of Spielberg using his platform to promote leftist ideologies. By glorifying media activism, selective transparency, and feminist themes, Spielberg continues to push a subversive agenda that undermines the core tenets of conservatism.
Camp David won for the White House, and I haven't heard back yet, but we'll see.
Steven Spielberg, thank you very much indeed for talking to us.
Thank you so much. Appreciate it.
Lastly, we have Ready Player One, a sci-fi adventure that doubles as a propaganda piece for leftist values. Set in a dystopian future where people escape their grim realities through a virtual reality world, the film promotes a collectivist ideology and critiques capitalism, aligning perfectly with leftist rhetoric.
People come to the Oasis for all the things they can do.
In Ready Player One, Spielberg presents a world where a large corporation, IOI, exploits the populace for profit, embodying the evils of unchecked capitalism. This portrayal feeds into the leftist narrative that big businesses are inherently corrupt and must be dismantled or regulated heavily. By vilifying corporate interests, Spielberg promotes the socialist idea that wealth and power should be distributed more evenly, a direct contradiction to conservative beliefs in free market capitalism. The film also champions the power of the collective over the individual. The protagonists come together to overthrow the corporate tyranny of IOI, highlighting the leftist ideal that collective action is necessary to combat societal injustices. This theme undermines the conservative value of individualism and personal responsibility, instead promoting a socialist perspective that prioritizes group efforts and communal benefits.
Welcome to the rebellion.
Moreover, Ready Player One criticizes escapism through virtual reality, subtly promoting the leftist agenda of government intervention in digital spaces. By presenting a world where people are addicted to virtual reality as a means of escaping their harsh realities, Spielberg suggests that regulatory measures are needed to control such technologies. This aligns with the leftist call for increased government oversight in the tech industry, further eroding the principles of free enterprise and innovation.
Sheridan to find the clues before evil corporate powers win control.
When you hear that you got this job, cast in a Steven Spielberg movie.
The film also includes diverse characters who band together to fight the oppressive corporation, promoting multiculturalism and inclusion. While diversity in itself is not problematic, Spielberg's emphasis on it as a central theme aligns with the leftist agenda of prioritizing identity politics over meritocracy. This undermines the conservative value of judging individuals based on their abilities and character rather than their identity.
The first thing I said to everybody...
In conclusion, Ready Player One serves as yet another vehicle for Spielberg to disseminate his leftist ideology. By vilifying capitalism, promoting collectivism, advocating for government intervention, and emphasizing identity politics, Spielberg continues to use his films to push a subversive agenda that contradicts conservative values. As right-wing Christian conservatives, it's important to recognize and critique these themes in order to uphold and protect our core principles. I hope you liked this video. If you did, make sure to subscribe, as I will continue posting only the best celebrity and K-pop content. This was Watch Wave, and until next time, Have a good one.
Try it. Well, his last one, I don't think he's gonna do it no more. Wait.